everyone, it's Jennifer from Fiberflux. In this video, I'm going to show you how I travel with my crochet. So when I travel, if I'm running an errand and just need to take something with me, or if I'm going on a longer road trip or even vacation, I always have my bag with me. And even if you're just sitting in a waiting room, you can get maybe a couple rows in, but I always try and keep a project with me, whether it's knitting or crochet, and just have something to work on at all times. So I have this kind of all-purpose tote bag that I carry with me. This is one of my favorite bags. I have a lot of different tote bags, but this one is one of my favorites, and for 3 reasons. One is that it's made of fabric, so if it gets dingy or if I've taken it on a long trip, I can just throw it in the wash. If you have a fabric bag, just check the label on your particular bag to see what the laundering instructions are. But it freshens it up and it's ready to go again. The other thing I like about this bag is that it has 2 side pockets. So if I need to carry a water or another drink, it's separate from the internal part of the bag and I don't have to worry about it leaking. The third thing that I love about this bag is that the top zips. So I can zip the top of the bag, everything is put away, I don't have to worry about anything falling out if the bag tips over. It feels just much more secure to me. I do have open top bags, but I really prefer these zip top bags. So let's look in here and we're gonna pull everything out and I'm gonna show you what I travel, what I carry around when I travel and run errands and things like that. As a side note, if you like this particular bag, this is a Vera Bradley bag and they offer different patterns each year. I got this one years ago. It was a discontinued pattern and they're generally way cheaper than getting the current year's patterns. So if you go to their website, you can look and see what their discontinued prints are and you get them a lot cheaper. So just as a side note. So the first thing that I like to carry with me is my tool bag. Now this is a repurposed cosmetic bag and I really like the size. The fabric is very sturdy. This is one of those kind of like promotional things, like when you buy something you get like a free cosmetic bag with it, and I've always just thought it looked like yarn to me. So I always carry this in my bag and it's just a little pouch here. I keep my scissors in it, and just to mention that I usually carry smaller scissors. These are a little big for travel, but they are my favorites. I also carry a tape measure if I need to measure something quickly while I'm working. If I'm trying to get a length on something, this is really handy to have with your projects. Pens are super helpful if you need to jot down an idea or maybe jot down the number of chains you're working or something like that. Helps you with keep your stitch counts as well. And I carry a couple different sizes of tapestry needle, usually like a chunky one and a finer one. If I finish a project while I'm out and about, I can also begin working on the finished work as well. And last but not least, I always keep a ponytail holder in my tool bag, and that's because if you have medium length or long hair, keeping your hair out of the way is really important. Any of you out there who have long hair, you can probably agree that sometimes you can knit and crochet your hair into your project if you're not careful. So I like to just have this to keep all hair out of the way. So let's put all this back. This is my tool bag. Now, depending on what project I'm working on, some of the contents of this can change a little bit. Sometimes I have an extra hook size or 2 if I need to experiment a little bit as well. So the next thing that I keep in my bag is a notebook. So if I'm coming up with an idea or if I need to jot something down, like if I change something or if I wanted to mark my stitch count, if I have to stop somewhere abruptly in the middle, like if you're in a waiting room and you get called to the back, you can jot something down really quick, and always keep, a pen in that tool bag so you can jot that down as well. So this notebook is very handy. I think I paid like 85 cents for this thing. And another thing I carry frequently, not all the time, is my iPad. Now I got this cover for like $12 on Amazon. The back of it is hard and then the front of it is flexible, and it it sort of bends back, and you can set it up like an easel if you want to watch something or refer to something. Sometimes I'll go on the Fiberflux blog and check things out a little bit, but I like to have my iPad with me when I'm working on projects. So that's that. And then finally, the actual projects, the whole point of carrying this thing around. So The way I like to organize my projects is with freezer bags. So let me get this tote bag out of the way. So I just grabbed some random projects. Now we always have all these projects laying around, and I like to keep them in freezer bags. So when I set up a project, I will take a freezer bag and I'll put the yarn, the project, whatever hook that it uses to make the project, and I put it all in a freezer bag. And I don't use a new one each time, I recycle them. So I have a little box in my studio and I keep just a big pile of these freezer bags. So whenever I'm starting a new project, I grab a freezer bag, put everything I need for that project. For example, if I needed a button, I'd also have the button in here, the hook, things like that. And it keeps it all together. You can zip the top of it and put it in your bag and it's all together. It stays clean and neat. Sometimes when you have a ball of yarn kind of rolling around in a tote bag, it can get really unruly very quickly and you can get knots. If it has too much movement, it can kind of get like a fuzzy halo around it. So I put everything in my freezer bag, and you know, these are totally able to be repurposed. When you're done and when you're finished this project and you start another project, save this freezer bag, use it for the next project. And you can just zip the top, and they're pretty flat, so you can stack them as well. These work really well for small projects. I wanted to mention that when my crochet is on the go, I try to stick to the smaller or medium projects. Having a gigantic Afghan is not as practical to travel with. I usually work on those projects at home. But these small projects, these bags work great. And you can carry multiple projects. See, I have the hook, the project, and they stack very nicely. And see how nice and flat that is? It fits very nicely into my tote bag. When I'm traveling, sometimes I'll hit the yarn shop, and so I'll keep an empty freezer bag, an extra freezer bag, and if I buy like a nice skein of yarn or something, maybe I'll slip it in there to keep it protected. So that is how I travel. I try to keep it light, keep it simple. I don't put too much in my tote bag. I don't want it to be heavy. I don't want it to weigh me down, but I do like to have the essentials. So I'd love to hear how you travel with your crochet and knitting projects. Please leave your comments below, and so everyone can see and we can all see how we travel. Thanks so much for watching, and thanks so much too for the viewer who left the comment and question about how I travel with my crochet. This has been really fun to share, and I can't wait to see your comments as well. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure and click the subscribe button to get all the latest Fiberflux video updates. Thanks again.